guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to run an article titled History Teacher on OnlyFans, How My Ex Exposed My Dirty Little Secret. And guys, this article, which just came out yesterday, is yet another story about in this case, a teacher, a junior high teacher who teaches history to 13 and 14-year-olds, lost her job because, guess what? She had her secret little job on on OnlyFans. And somehow it got out to the school board and the principal and all that. And pretty much she was, given the option to resign. But essentially she was getting fired because of this. And to no surprise, she's not exactly happy about this. And of course, she is now blaming her ex-husband because she found out that she suspects that he's the one that released the information. I believe that actually is the case. She's blaming him. She's obviously blaming an uptight system because even though that she broke the school's moral code, because big surprise, they don't want the teachers who are supposed to be role models for the kids, impressionable young teenagers, participating in activities such like this. If you're a parent, I would imagine you probably wouldn't want your kids' teachers doing something along these lines outside of school and shaping young minds. If I was a parent, I certainly would want to. But anyhow, guys, she's not very happy about this. And this is yet once again, these teachers, and she's young. She's 32 years old. And, it's amazing to me, today's world, this just the need for attention and validation. Because it seems like an article like this pops up about once a month about somebody loses their job. It's a woman and she's pissed off about it. And it's this big injustice. When it's like, you're the one that did it. You're the one that just thrived on all that attention and validation. If you want to do it full time, quit your job and do it full time. But don't act surprised when you lose your job because of what you do. And I'm doing this, guys, for a few reasons. Number one, it's funny as hell. The entertainment factor. Number two, once again, to show you about the whole thing about accountability. Now, there's no accountability with a lot of women because she's blaming the ex-husband. She's blaming the uptight school system. And last but not least, how, once again, shows you about attention and validation. It's like a drug to so many women. They all like it, but to some take it to a new level. And you're going to see here in the article later on how this all started. Guess what? Instagram. She was getting attention and validation on Instagram. Eventually that wasn't enough. So now I had to escalate to OnlyFans. I've brought this up many, many times. So that's why I tell you guys, those of you guys do relationships, watch out for your girl if she's starting to post a lot of pictures on social media, in particular Instagram, because if that could eventually escalate. So anyhow, I'm going to get into this article. It starts off, when history teacher Amy Cups was ordered by the school principal to attend a Zoom meeting with him and members of the board, she knew she was in trouble. She says, it was awkward, she recalled. I was trembling with fear and embarrassment. Well, she wasn't so embarrassed to shake her ass on OnlyFans for men all over the world, but now she's embarrassed? Come on. It says the shame was caused by the panel confronting her with evidence of her secret side gig on OnlyFans, the digital platform specializing in adult content, a role that flew in the face of the school's moral code. And she's quoted as saying, now listen to this, they made me feel so small and disgusting, added Krups, 32 years old, who was swiftly admitted the offense and was suspended from her job. She subsequently opted to resign from her full-time position instructing 13 and 14-year-old kids. She's teaching 13 and 14-year-old kids. Imagine if one of these kids, and nowadays with boys, you just never know what they can get their hands on, saw her online. It's not very hard for a kid to get his parents' credit card and not really, connecting the dots that the parents would find out and sign up for one of these things. And imagine if the boy saw her, right? Or one of the parents. What was she honestly thinking? But she wasn't thinking. She was driven by that need for attention and validation. It's a drug. I'm not kidding. She says, I wasn't embarrassed about doing it. Wait a second. In the beginning of the article, she says right here, I was trembling with fear and embarrassment. And now she says, I wasn't embarrassed about doing it. So she can't make up her damn mind. I wasn't embarrassed about doing it, but knowing my colleagues knew about it made me cringe. The brunette from Charlotte, North Carolina told Jam Press. I was so mortified, I felt like I had no choice but to step down. Oh, poor you. You made this decision. You decided to do this for whatever reason. I mean, again, if it was for money and you were making money, quit your job. Eventually, this is going to come out. Her sorrowful feelings about quitting her job were in stark contrast to the thrills she experienced while performing on OnlyFans. The thrill of what? Attention and validation from dudes all over the world. And wait till you hear, guys, as I go on, how much money she's made from this just in a couple of years. She said, I love that I had this side of me that no one at school knew about. I felt like a naughty superhero. Teacher by day, temptress by night. Superhero, more like super something else I'm not going to say. You guys can mention in the comment section what you think I'm saying. Or what you think I'm thinking. After the bust, it wasn't long before she began to wonder how the authorities had found out about her X-rated appearances on the subscription-based website. Could the principal have been one of the guys or one of her paying gentleman clients? Hey, you never know. Could be the principal. It could be one of the teachers. It could be one of the people on the school board. It could have been students, their fathers. Who the hell knows? Word spreads quick. But then she identified the chief suspect, her ex-husband, Theodore, who had long resented the attention that she got from other men. In fact, his jealousy was one of the main reasons behind their 2020 divorce. Now keep in mind that this is coming from her perspective, saying it was his jealousy and all that, okay? Maybe the dude didn't like the fact that his wife was there online showing off her body and doing Lord knows what in videos to get paid for from dudes all over the world. Maybe he wasn't very big on that. Now you're going to see that supposedly, according to her, it was his idea. But maybe he realized eventually, like, this isn't a good idea, but she didn't want to stop. She says he had shown her OnlyFans page to someone on the school board who had been then alerted the principal. Yeah, blame. It's his fault. It's not my fault that I did this on the side and broke the rules, the moral code of the school. No, it's his fault that I lost my job here. Theodore has since admitted ratting out his former wife, claiming that she deserved it. Okay, so he's the one that he did this. Well, in my opinion, eventually she would have gotten caught anyway. It was just a matter of time. Nevertheless, he has shown some remorse and said that part of him regrets the betrayal due to the embarrassment that he caused. No, he doesn't. I don't buy that. His motivation was a combination of envy over Krupp's somewhat intimate relationship with her fans and bitterness that she never gave him half of her significant earnings. And again, this is from her perspective. Well, bitterness, yeah, that again she's talking to and flirting with and Lord knows what with dudes all over the world. And this part that she never gave him half significant earnings. Correct me if I'm wrong, they were a married couple. And so I'm sure that she got access to half of his money. So why doesn't he get anything? Isn't that funny how that works? The self-confessed cheater, who is now living with a younger woman, insisted that Krupp's involvement with OnlyFans was his idea after he spotted the rising popularity of her Instagram posts. So supposedly this was his idea, but he probably didn't realize what he was getting himself into. And notice here, she was on Instagram and very popular and getting a lot of attention. Okay, and she probably was no doubt loving every minute of it. And this guy thought, oh, okay, it won't be a big deal, won't go to her head. Wrong. And by the way, if this was his idea, he's a freaking dumbass because he should have saw what was coming. And if supposedly he didn't get any money out of it, he really is a dumbass. And it goes on, she managed to keep the social media account hidden from her coworkers, friends, and family in case they frowned upon her risque stunts. Gee, you think? It was a chance she was willing to take due to the stream of compliments and positive reactions to her pictures. She says men absolutely drooled over them, she recalled. The comments they would leave were a boost. Attention and validation. Her decision to join OnlyFans in 2019 seemed like a golden opportunity to garner more attention. It says right here, more attention. While monetizing her good looks and hourglass figure enhanced by breast enlargement. Over the last 2 years, she has racked in more than $150,000. That's quite a payday. And obviously, you might think, okay, $75,000 a year. Obviously, the membership, or whatever you want to call it, grew. So probably the first year, maybe she earned $50K, and probably the second year, she earned $100K. So she continues on with this. Now, what I've heard is that OnlyFans is going in a different direction, but if it hadn't, she'd probably make $150K this year. Who knows? Especially mentioning that she's a teacher, because that would get more guys attracted to her. It was liberating. Listen to this. She says, "It was liberating to find men found me this attractive," said the teacher turned model. "I quickly got the hang of it, and it was so lovely having my husband supporting me. I really thought it was going well, and we were a team." Again, this is from her perspective, and I'm not really putting a whole lot of stock in that. At first, she found that the venture transformed the couple's love life. It put them in a sexy mood when she posed provocatively as Theodore took the photographs and suggested new content. But the added excitement in the bedroom was short-lived once the green-eyed monster emerged. Ding, 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 money. They started arguing, and Theodore admitted to having an affair with a woman he met at a nightclub. The situation got so strained that the duo split and formally ended their union last December. Pretty much every story I go over, guys, about a woman that gets into hot water over OnlyFans, for whatever the situation is, almost every time she was married when she began this, and not long after, when she started making a lot of money and becoming, semi-famous in that little, circle, the marriages always ended. Every time. And, by the way, the guy was, the picture was painted if he was the bad guy. He was holding her back. That type of shit. They started arguing, and Theodore admitted to having an affair with a woman he met at a nightclub. I read that part. He's probably having an affair because he felt like, hey, she's cheating and doing Lord knows what. So, hey, I'm not saying it's right. You should have ended with her, but it is what it is. Despite becoming, listen to this, despite becoming the victim of her ex's vengeful exposure, Cups has bounced back and said her OnlyFans page is going from strength to strength. Being the victim. What did I tell you in the beginning about playing the victim card? Everybody else, I'm not to blame. It's my ex's fault that I lost my job as a teacher. It's the uptight school board and the rules. That's the blame that I lost my job. Not me. I'm the victim here. As for teaching, she is still considering going back to the profession, but at a different school. That's a little too late. The only teaching job she's going to get is going to be if it's in a movie and she's playing the role as a teacher, and you guys can connect the dots what I'm talking about there. That's it. Cups is also relieved that Theodore appears to have buried the hatchet and is not planning further spiteful deeds following his mea culpa. He says, best of luck to her in future endeavors. He concluded, she is a beauty, but I'm the beast. Anyway, guys, so quick video there. I came across that this morning about this article here, but yet another situation. Somebody loses their job. It is always about women that do this. But again, in this world, people just always have to put themselves on display. It's unbelievable. Some people may say, well, SSM, you're putting yourself on display with your channel. Yeah, but this channel serves a purpose. Okay, I'm helping people out around the world, not just doing this to hear the sound of my own voice. But, and again, for you guys to do relationships and everything, like I said before, watch out for your women that are on Instagram and showing pictures of themselves, because that thrill they get from that attention, it will increase. And if you look at a lot of people's, if you ever go on Instagram and you look at girls that strut their stuff, so to speak, you'll notice in the beginning their pictures are always a lot more conservative. And as the more likes and comments come in, the pictures become more and more revealing. And then they get more likes and more shares and more comments. And they become more revealing. Then they start doing videos, shaking their ass and whatever, on the beach in bikinis, thongs. You get the point here. And then just bigger and bigger and bigger. And it escalates. Next thing you know, you see a link to OnlyFans in their page, okay? I'm not saying this is every time, but it happens quite a bit. So, again, if you got a girl and she's young, you're young and you're watching this and your girl Instagram, and sometimes it starts where it's simply just they're on there and they have pictures of them with the dog or the cat or on vacation or whatever, and just somebody stumbled upon it, thought she was hot and liked it, and then just this builds and builds and builds. So just keep an eye on that. And of course, the thing about attention to value, I just mentioned that, and the thing about accountability. It's not my fault. Everybody else's fault. How many of you guys have had a situation where your girl or girlfriend did you wrong in some way, and she was clearly in the wrong, and you try calling her out on it, and things are twisted around that she makes that to be your fault. You're the fault. It's your fault that she did this, or it's your fault that she did that, and you should be apologizing to me for what I did. Right? So just little lessons here to show you guys these things. So anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.